microphone on mute, and then we'll have some questions at the end where you can jot some things down and ask me when we're concluding the meeting. Welcome. I love the turnout we got tonight. I'm really excited. I am Professor Kenshin. I'll be teaching HRIS this term, and it's probably one of my favorite things to talk about, actually. So I've worked in human resources, or did work in human resources at corporate level for 20 plus years. My last stint in human resources was a senior HR executive director for one of the second largest performing arts centers in the country in Tampa, Florida. I have been dealing with HRIS since my first day on the job in human resources. And I will tell you, this is a very important class. And why is it important? Well, HRIS are the systems, I like to call the people management systems, the human resource system, if you will. But it's not just a payroll system. You may be familiar with, logging into a Paychex or a Paycom or something of that nature, Paylocity, to change your direct deposit or change the personal information, that kind of thing. But it actually measures all the data of people in an organization. For example, when I worked for the Performing Arts Center, I was asked to look at equity across the board to see if we were a diverse organization, and if we were paying in an equitable manner across the board. And when I pulled information, I pulled it out of the HRIS system, and I put it into Excel and started playing with the data. So it's important, and it tells you a story. And for me, what I learned in that exercise was that we were not equitable across the board. And so I could take real live data as it was happening in the organization, and I could report back to my executive team that we needed to change some things fundamentally with how we looked at talent acquisition, how we looked at pay across the board, how we compared positions, tenure, all those things. So we developed a 5-year plan to get better. And so data is important in human resources. It's not just about people. It's about equity, inclusion, all those things that are important. We can't do it without looking at that data, right? And we can't do it without the information flowing into the system correctly. So yes, HRIS does a myriad of things. Some of the newer systems now, like Workday and some others that I've seen, have talent acquisition, ATS built in. They have benefits, how they roll out their healthcare and how they enroll. It's all done in the HRIS system. They have all these things under an umbrella. Okay, so as well as training and development, even modules now that house under an HRIS system. They are very robust, and they take a lot of work on the part of the HR team. So I've gone in as a party of one and had to build an HRIS system from scratch, and I've gone in with a team that supported me. Either way, I will tell you that every time I've taken an HR role, I've been asked to change the HRIS system. So, your CEO or CFO will say, I want to change. I don't like it. I don't like Paylocity. I don't like Paycom. I don't want to do, I don't want to use this system anymore. April, I need you to change it. That can't be done overnight or in a vacuum. It takes an implementation team. It takes the support of the vendor that you've chosen. They'll have a team that supports you, and it takes you and your team. And it can take up to 6 months to properly move, depending on the size of your organization, all of that employee information. Okay. Most HRIS systems now handle onboarding. So as you can imagine, all the importance of maintaining employee paperwork is housed in one area, typically a cloud now. So all of that is sensitive information. So HRIS needs to become your friend if you're going to pursue HR as a career. And I love it. I like the project work myself. Part of it is looking at different vendors. We'll talk about that over the next few weeks about how do I pick a good vendor. And I think it's important to involve all the departments in the organization before you do choose one. It's not just I go to the CFO and say I want Workday. No, I have them come out. I have them sell their, demo the product, but I have them demo the product in front of all the department heads, people that are actually going to be using this software on a daily basis. Why is that important? Well, you'll find that they're looking at things differently than you are as an HR professional. They're like, wait, that payroll option isn't going to work because we have 5 different cost centers. We need a variety of options to customize, and we can't customize. So you'll say, oh, they're out. They can't customize, So you learn things by involving all of your senior leadership as well as your department heads in the process of choosing an HRIS system. And if you do that, you'll choose the right one. And it won't be, 2 years from now, we're changing the system again. It'll be the system that everybody likes and enjoys, and we're just building onto the system, right? Most systems have modules, so you might start off slow. Like the first module you have to get right and test is payroll. Payroll has to function. So typically we'll do a penny deposit test run. Once payroll is working very well, then we start building to that. Then we start building talent acquisition. Then we start building training and development. Then we start building onboarding, all those things that you want to automate in your HR department. The more you automate, the more you become strategic in HR. If you're doing all this personnel stuff, you're not going to be able to really sit down and be a real human resource partner to your executive team. So it's important that you automate and you have that fundamental, I'm automating everything in this office. Paper's over. We're not doing that. And especially now when you think of going remote, everybody's going remote now. How are you going to be a paper-driven organization? You can't be, right? We know that a whole interview process is going to be online like this. The onboarding process and the orientation process is going to be online like this. Everything's going to need to be automated. That's the future of HR. So this is probably the most important class you'll take, in my opinion. That's not just because I'm teaching it, but because I lived it and breathed it. So any questions you have about that or what it looks like to change a system or start, please reach out to me. I'd love to make myself available to my students. So let's talk about assignments, because I know that's important. You guys are all wondering, what's that about? Have you had a chance, just let me know, or a show of hands, to look at the syllabus? Yes? Great, I see hands, that's good. So, but I'm gonna still go over this with you so you have some concepts. Here's a little taste of the points in the class. So quizzes, I have 5 at 30 points, that's totaling 150. We have a quiz this week, so be aware of that. And typically all assignments are due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, okay? Case study essays, that is exactly what it is. It's an essay answering the questions I've placed in that assignment. And typically that's going to come from the book. So you're going to read the case study and you're going to go, okay, after I've read the chapter and I've read the case study, what am I going to propose here? And typically it's going to ask you a couple of questions in that assignment. I did put an APA format template in to each assignment. And why did I do that? If you're going to continue your college career, which I think all of you are, APA is going to be the #1 formatting that you use, okay? If I can get you used to using it now, you're going to thank me later, because I went back for my master's degree at 40, and I had forgotten how to write at the college level. So my professor got on to me and said, you don't know how to do APA, you don't know how to, and I didn't, and she gave me a lot of bad marks on my first paper. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's been 20 years since I've been in college, right? So she was really great. She worked with me and she gave me an APA template, and that's how she started me off. And that's how I started thinking about APA. If you want to learn more, I suggest you check one of these out. It's APA 7th edition. It's where all the universities have moved to. Also, apastyle.org is free, and it's basically this book. And it will show you how to cite properly. It will show you how to do your reference page. It will show you how to cite a magazine, a book, a website, a blog, all those kind of things you want to know how to cite properly. This is a great book. I got this used, $8 on Amazon. So shop around for it, but also apastyle.org. I'll put that in the announcement after our meeting tonight, so you'll have that resource because it's free. It basically took the book and put it online. Discussions we have on a weekly basis. We'll have 8 at 50 points. That's 400 total points. That's a chunk. That in your case study essay. So be aware of that. That's 700 points. Your final exam project is 150 points. Okay. I will do, and I'll ask for a poll at the end of this if you guys like weekly lectures. If you'd like me to do this again on a weekly basis to cover material, I'm happy to do it. So we'll talk about that at the end. So total points is 1,000. And as you can see, it breaks down the A, B, C, D, and F. Okay. Assignments, like I said, are due on Sunday by 11:59 Central Standard Time. Discussions initial post is due tonight by 11:59 p.m. So if you haven't done your discussion thread assignment yet, that would be your initial post, okay, not your 2 peer posts. Your initial post will be tonight, and then your 2 peer posts need to be completed by Sunday on your discussion assignment, okay? And then your quiz is due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Any questions about that, how I've broken down the assignments? We good? Okay. You guys are good. Oh, no questions yet. Okay, so case studies, essays. What am I looking for? You'll want to use 12-point font, okay, and double space. And I want you to get used to double spacing because APA format is double spaced. So you will double space between your paragraphs and you'll double space each sentence. And it's 12-point font. And if you use the template that I provided, you'll be perfect on your formatting. So the template I provided is a good starting point to start thinking about APA formatting if you have it already. So we'll go back to that main page. And I already talked briefly about what HRIS, but what does it stand for? It stands for Human Resource Information System. It's related to Human Resources Management System, HRMS, and Human Capital Management, HCM. But there are some subtle differences among the 3. And I like to talk about the 3 because there are differences. We're learning HRIS, but there is also HRMS and HCM. Both HRIS and HRMS can help employers manage various aspects of HR, such as payroll, benefit administration, and compliance. Where they may differ is talent and performance management. Again, we can also automate performance reviews, which is something department heads do not like to do. I'll just tell you, managers in general do not like to do performance reviews. So if you can automate that, they're going to love you. And then, which is sometimes exclusive to HRMS. HCM, meanwhile, refers to the broad set of people management practices that can be accomplished with HRIS and HRMS. So it falls under HCM. What does HRIS do? It helps businesses use technology to enhance their people processes and make both HR and their organization as a whole more efficient. As a result, they may be better able to keep pace with the evolving workplace trends. HRIS, what are the benefits of HRIS? In addition to improved workforce productivity, employers may find that HRIS helps them make data-driven decisions. So we talked about that, where your CFO may come to you and say, I want to look at merit increases this year. We can only do 4%, but we can probably do 6% on some really high performers. Let's look at what that looks like, that data. Can you pull that for me? That's going to come from your HRIS system to compare data. Compare what if scenarios with maybe your organization can only do 2% and 4% on certain level positions. So you're gonna want to pull this information from HRIS to do a comparison. And then enhance user experiences like user-friendly interfaces, which actually become really the intranet for the employees, and mobile apps now. So most HRIS systems have mobile apps. So the employees can do a lot of things on their own if they want to change things about the direct deposit, or they want to change personal information about their address change so that they get their W-2s, that kind of thing. They can all do it through an app. So what are the benefits or the features of HRIS? HRIS software offers personalized HR tools and scalable solutions that can help businesses tackle challenges as they grow. And some of the more common HRIS features include recruiting and onboarding. That's number one. It's going to automate the process, but it's also going to help the talent side. What if you're the only person in HR? And that happens a lot. It happened probably 4 times to me in my career. I need this all automated because I don't have a team of talent people looking to fill positions for me. It's me. So HRIS allows the recruiting and onboarding, and allows me to scan resumes really quickly, efficiently, and rule resumes out. So it'll perform preliminary candidate screenings and conduct background checks for me, which I think is amazing. If I'm a party of one HR, this is something I need. Payroll, in many cases in HRIS, will automatically deduct taxes and benefits from employee wages, which saves time and helps reduce the risk of error. Some systems also offer flexible pay options as well. Time, attendance, and scheduling. Believe it or not, HRIS does the time tracking and often supports many types of workers and communicates directly with payroll to help improve accuracy. And what I mean by that is a lot of the times you'll go with a Paycom, a Paycor, or a Paylocity, depending. You'll have a team assigned to you that works solely with you, the client. So if you're having issues getting things set up, they'll do it for you. So a lot of times, if you also are a party one and you're doing payroll on your own as well, they may take payroll away from you and do it for you. As long as your timekeeping is accurate and uploaded correctly, they'll run it for you. So really partner with whichever vendor you choose, because you'll find that you have teams that can support you in all these areas. Benefit administration as well. HRIS typically has broad capabilities to manage employer-offered benefits such as health insurance and retirement savings plans, as well as voluntary benefits. Compliance. Some HRIS have the ability to stay current with changes in tax laws and employment regulations as they occur. I know I used Paylocity, and when we had the tax law, the tax code change, it was immediately updated. I had to do nothing. It was just current the next day when that law was passed. So reports and analytics, again, we're looking at compensation, or we're looking at equity, or we're looking at, in my situation, working for the Performing Arts Center in Tampa, we were looking at trying to achieve an affirmative action grant, and we weren't meeting the Tampa goals. And so it was important for me to have analytics so that I could present to my executive team we needed to make some serious changes if we were to qualify for that grant for the city of Tampa. So something to think about there. And then integrations, HRIS can integrate payroll, benefits, time tracking into one unified system, which is what you want, so that you can do actual fun things, great things, be a strategic partner for your employees, and not worry so much about all of this. Hopefully that makes sense. And then now we're going to talk about how to contact me. So my office hours are virtual, but as you can see, I have a home office here. I think all of us do, to some extent. You can schedule time with me if you have some particular questions about an assignment, or you would like me to take a look at something prior to submission. If you look at, I have access to Calendly.com. This is also on the syllabus. So you can click on that on the syllabus and schedule time. Office number is 346-337-4053. I do give that out to my students. And again, you can also email me as well. That's a good way to reach me too. And I love to network with my students, and you want to check out my network or check out my LinkedIn page, I also provide that to you as well. Because I do have a lot of amazing peers and people I worked with over the years as part of my LinkedIn network. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. Every HR position I have held for the last 15 years, I got through LinkedIn. So start thinking about how I want to build my LinkedIn page, because that's the way HR, in particular talent acquisition managers, look for HR candidates, okay? And LinkedIn is now involved with a lot of, certification training and things of that nature. If you're going to pursue your SHRM CP or your SPHR or PHR certification in addition to your education, which I think is important. So LinkedIn is a really good place to start and start networking and talking to people in the field of HR if you're interested. So now I'm going to leave that to, do we have any questions? I have something in chat really quick. Okay, good question, Tiara. With a discussion thread, I'm looking for something substantive. So a few sentences. For example, depending on the question, one sentence is not appropriate for a discussion post assignment. So think about it as a paragraph. 3 sentences typically are fine, 3 to 4. I have some people write a book for a discussion. I'm not asking for that. Or a paper link for a discussion thread, not asking for that. I appreciate it. But really, it's just discussing the topic for the week. So think about, is that 3 to 4 sentences? I always say a paragraph's a good rule of thumb. And obviously, if you go to 2, that's fine too, depending on the question. Anybody else? You guys can come off mute and ask me some questions.
I have a question.
Yes, Reggie?
The case study essay, is there like I know you did provide the template and everything, but basically do we just answer those questions?
Yes.
And put it in that format?
Yes, and I would use obviously use your text. Your textbook is going to be the driver there as far as in terms of resource. But I would also look at other resources. This is HR. There's a ton of resources, especially if you look at SHRM.org. I don't know if you're familiar with SHRM. I've been a member of SHRM for 20 years in the HR profession. So it's shrm.org. And I'll put that also in the recording tonight. But SHRM has a lot of great resources, especially when we're talking about HRIS. So you might want to maybe cite another resource in there in answering as well as your textbook, if that helps. Thanks, Reggie, for the question. That's a good one.
I also have a question regarding the case study.
Yes, Norma?
Do we have like a word count we need to cover for the case study?
I think I'll just use this as an example. You have 3 questions. I would expect to see a minimum of 3 paragraphs answering the question. This is a short essay. The final project is a little bit lengthier than, as you know, you've probably seen all of the questions on the final project. That's a lot heavier assignment, obviously weighted more, 150 points. So we're going to put some more effort into that. And I will probably more than likely have another call on just the final project to review it with you guys before we do turn that in. Because I want everybody in my class to make an A. That's always my goal. And so I do make myself available to you. And if you learn something from me as far as grading, it's not a slap on the hand. I do give students an opportunity to rework a paper even if they want to try to achieve a better grade. So I appreciate that work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good questions.
And I also have one question.
Yes, hi Tara, go ahead.
I normally get home, this was the latest I get home. If I emailed you, should I expect an email back that same night or next day?
It depends. If I'm up yes. So I'm kind of a workaholic, and I will be sometimes around. If it's urgent, you can always text me. Say, I'm this Tiara so-and-so in this class, and I have a real quick question. I'm cool with that. Okay. If I don't get back to you that night, it's going to be within 24 hours. That's just my rule. So I will get back to you the next day, the latest.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Or you can obviously take the scheduling tool I have, Calendly, and jump on my calendar that way too. I have some students that want to do a Zoom meeting and look at the paper. Am I does this look good for my first assignment or what? I'm totally available to send you a Zoom invite and we can look at your paper as well. My goal class is for you to feel like if you walked into my classroom, would it be the same in a remote environment, right? So I think that's a good segue to say that we've all kind of been moved rapidly to a remote environment with the pandemic. And this is what's happening in the workplace. We still have to create the community so that employees still feel connected. So I want to do the same thing. I want to mirror what you would see in the workplace and create the community in our class. So if I'm not accessible, I'm not doing my job. So you let me know if you need anything, because I'm here to support you in doing well in my class. And HRIS is so important. It's one of those classes you just cannot miss. A lot of students have asked me in this class, should I keep the book? Yeah, I would keep. There were some books I kept in my HR degree, and there were some I didn't. Okay, like employee relations. Well, employee relations you learn by doing. That's just one of my. But I kept 3 of my HRIS books because I knew that was a big part of the job. So, any other questions?
I had a question.
Yes, Wayne.
How you doing?
Hi.
What's my question? Oh, for the quizzes, are they open-ended or multiple choice or like a combination of the two? I just want to know how to prepare, like when I read through the chapter.
Good question, Wayne. So they're true and false, and fill in the blank.
Okay.
Not multiple. I don't do multiple choice.
You said it was.
It was fill in the blank. Where you have to have read and know the material, or it's true or false.
True or false. Okay.
So definitely prepare before you take the quiz. That's a good one, Wayne. Glad for asking that. Yes.
No, I also have a question. I was wondering.
Yes, Vanessa.
I was looking at the assignments, but I was mainly focused on the points we'll be receiving. But again, I have this. Are the assignments gonna be like on the computer, or are these assignments like mainly essays? Because there's some books that are online and they opt for this other part of it, which comes
Yeah,
with,
it's an essay, and you're submitting it to the assignment thread. That's it. I try to keep it really simple. You'll use your textbook, no doubt. So if you haven't gotten your textbook, I recommend getting it. Now, I think I talked to Reggie about this, right? Amazon, you can get the book by this weekend. If you're having trouble getting the text, I understood that Lone Star had a shortage or something, so I don't know what's going on there, but I found it on Chegg as well. Amazon, if you want to rent the textbook, that's $15 to rent the textbook for the whole term. So you've got some options, and I'm kind of glad that happened in a way, because I built a class myself, so I went with essays so that you would not be wouldn't be able to not complete the assignment, so hopefully you guys have all gotten the textbook and found some other options to rent or buy. I know some people want to keep the textbook and have purchased too.
Yeah, I like to keep the textbooks that way I can write in them, but I rented it, just as you recommended. I did find it on Amazon. I got it today. It came the next day, and
we like Prime, right? Get things sometimes the same day. So yeah, great, Reggie. That's good news. I'm so glad you got it. That's great.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just want to see if I understand this right. On the initial post, is that the introduction, and the 2 peer posts, that's those discussion and the essay?
So your discussion initial post is due tonight. That's when you read the question and you answer it. Then you comment to 2 of your peers by Sunday, and that completes the assignment for discussion threads. Does that make sense?
So like, for example, the strategic HRM, did you do that one discussion and then you have to reply to 2 other students?
That's correct. Because you're talking, the whole part of the discussion is for all of you to talk amongst your peers about the course material for the week. I noticed some of you have experience in HR, so I'm really looking forward to seeing some of your contribution as well. But there are some people in the class that have no experience in HR and really aren't sure what an HRIS system does or what's the importance or significance of that. So I think it'll be a good discussion. So you at least want to post to 2 of your peers and say, wow, I didn't know that, and I've learned something, a couple sentences there and there to acknowledge that you've read 2 peer posts. You know, I have some students that will comment to every student. I'm not asking you to do that. But at minimum, 2 peer posts to maximize your points for the week on that assignment.
I have a question.
Yes,
I'm
Pooja?
wondering, can I use like a online version of the book instead of physical book?
Yes, if you can find it. I could not find an online version of the book in this particular book. Now, I don't know. I mean, I did a search and it brought up 20 options, but I didn't see an e-text in this book. So you might check with Lone Star's library and or their bookstore and find out if there is an e-version or not.
Okay, thank you.
There is several ways, though, again, I would say to rent the textbook if you're trying to save some money. And then obviously I found a couple of options where the textbook was on sale, so at pretty decent price if you want to buy the textbook. But I think a couple of students did tell me they were having an issue actually getting it from our library. So I just wanted to make sure you knew there's some options online to get the material. Any other questions? These are all great questions. Okay, well, I want to just say we had a great turnout tonight. I'm really excited. I will put the recording in the announcements. I do have a question for the class. You don't have to answer in front of everybody. You can just send me an email. But my poll here is to ask if you would like a weekly lecture on the material. And then obviously if you would like a final lecture on the final project. If that is of interest to you, please let me know and give me a good time. So I'll see what the consensus is, and I'll send out an email to all of you on what all the students would like to see. And I'll try to break it up on a weekly basis. If you all want to see it on a weekly basis, I'll change days and things like that so nobody misses anything. But I'm happy to, in an 8-week course, do a weekly lecture if that's something you would like to see. And then obviously tackle the final project right before that's due and do a Zoom call on that. So just let me know via email what you would like. If that's something that's of interest to you, I'll make sure we have that. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I am done. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. Thank you so much for coming. I am so excited to be working with all of you this term. And again, if you have any questions or need anything, you've got all my contact information on the syllabus. Like I said, I'll put this recording in the announcements as well if you want to refer back to it. Okay. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.